The home stretch, for all of you who are hungry for some lunch. Hope is alive, and you're now going to hear from three people for whom that's a very real statement, very real in their lives, because they are all three survivors of trafficking. Our first speaker is Shemere McKenzie. Shemere McKenzie was simply trying to pay for college when she met a man who promised to send her back to school. Before she knew it, she became a victim of human trafficking. She is now a program assistant at Courtney's house and a policy assistant at Shared Hope International. Yeah, go Shared Hope. She travels throughout the country, bringing about awareness on human trafficking, and serves as a mentor to two survivors of human trafficking. She believes she is a voice of those who perished while enslaved, those who are still enslaved, and those who are free but afraid to speak. Today she will share a creative expression on the life of a survivor with another survivor, Stacy Lewis. Stacy Lewis is the creative director of DYM Underground, an organization centered around the performing arts. As a survivor, Stacy now helps teach and train other survivors and youth of all backgrounds how to use the performing arts for recovery and a creative way to express their stories. DYMU's slogan, "Looking beyond the surface to find treasure within," represents her belief that all of us have greater potential that surpasses what the eye can see. Using thought-provoking and innovative performances, Stacy not only reveals truth to the world, but helps others find the strength in their stories and the courage to speak them. Stacy and Shemere.
Can you go get the criminal, please? Good afternoon. We're here today because this young woman here is on trial. She is on trial today for the crime of prostitution. Now, my particular client, who I am representing, is not here today, but it's mainly because he doesn't have to be. My client was not the one arrested at the scene of the crime. Instead, it was actually this criminal here who was the one put in chains. But yet, he needs representation because although he's a wonderful family man, he has records of charitable contributions to the community. He has the audacity to be threatened with being placed on a sex offenders list. Not only that, he will have to suffer almost 30 days of community service. Why? Because this criminal lied to him about her age. He thought he was buying, he thought he was, let's see, what's the word to say, conversing with someone 18 and over. And in fact, she was 12 years old. My poor client was unaware that she was underage. And though I'm not saying that prostitution is right, lying about her age is much, much worse. Which is exactly why he wasn't arrested, but she was. Now, I'm not saying that what he did was wrong, isn't wrong, because I mean, he does, it's morally not right. He committed adultery on his family, but that is personal. He should not be subject to humiliation like this young woman here by being put on a sex offenders list. So, I'm not saying that this young woman, this criminal here, this 12-year-old child, she's 13 now, 13-year-old vixen here could not be a victim. But when her hotel room was ransacked by police officers and they stuck many guns in her face and they barely clothed her and they put handcuffs on her, she was too scared, crying in tears, to be able to give up the person who she claimed to have abused her. So because she was not willing to give him up in those circumstances where any adult would maybe be too afraid to speak up right away, she's in chains, and rightfully so. Now, if she was truly a victim, I do understand that there are wonderful organizations out here that could actually help her. There are places, as what's represented here today, like Courtney's House and Living Water for Girls, and you know, even Shared Hope is coming out with something for so-called victims called the Protective Innocence Initiative. But that doesn't come out to December 1st. It's today. And today, there's nothing really out here to protect these young victims, these 13-year-old vixen criminals. So she is exactly where we as a people want her to be. Correct? All right. So, what shall we say to these things? I'm sorry I can't do more, but because these organizations are scratching and sniffing for funding, I have to lock her up in chains until I find something to do with her. Young lady, I only have one question for you. Why? Why should we care about you? Why should we treat you like a victim and not the criminal that you're being betrayed right now to be? Why are you any different? No words? That's what I thought. Bailiff, take her out of here, please. Because I'm your daughter! And I'm your daughter! And I'm your daughter! I was taken from in front of your school. I used to take the school bus in front of your house. I used to play with your kids. But I'm the one in chains and handcuffs. Why am I the one in chains and handcuffs? What happened to the man who did this to me? I didn't want to do this. But he told me if I didn't do it, he would kill me. And after he beat me and raped me, I didn't know what to do. What happened to the guy who bought me? Why is he not even in court today? All he has is some lady speaking and calling me a criminal, but I'm a victim. Why can't somebody just help me? Why can't you guys just help me? I'm freeing myself. I'm not a victim anymore. I'm not a criminal. I'm a survivor. I am Shemere McKenzie, and I am a survivor. Yes. I was simply trying to find my way back to college when I met a man that told me he would assist me with going back to school. And before I knew it, I was beaten, raped, sodomized, and even witnessed other girls being beaten. When I told him I wanted to get out of the life, all I remember was being choked, and the next thing I woke up and I was laying in urine. I endured that for 1 year and 7 months. This is what's happening to our children today. The average age of entry into prostitution is 13 years old. 100,000 to 300,000 U.S. citizen children are trafficked each year right here in the United States.
When you take a drive down on K Street at night, we are in Washington, D.C., so let's address Washington, D.C. When you drive down K Street at night and you see these girls dressed up and they appear to be smiling, and you say, yes, they want to do it because look at their faces, do you know how many times they're beaten before they go outside? Do you know that if they don't make that quota, they cannot go inside? And if they go inside without that quota, they're beaten again? Is this what we're accepting? Are we as a people just going to sit back and allow this to happen to our children who are supposed to be the future of tomorrow? Why aren't we writing to our senators and our congressmen asking them to pass laws to protect our children? What can you do? We had 13 different organizations here today for a walk for freedom to help these children. We need to get involved with organizations. We need to write our senators, make sure these laws are passed. And we need to take this walk to Capitol Hill. Let them know we care about our children. Let them know that we're not going to accept our children being arrested when they're actually victims and not criminals. Are you going to walk away from here today and not do anything? Are you going to walk away from here today knowing that your child could be next? Are you going to walk away from here today knowing that your daughter, your son, your niece, your nephew, your next door neighbor, that she could be in this orange jumpsuit, that she could be in chains and handcuffs? And all our system is saying is that's where they belong. What are you? What are you, the people of America, going to do about it? Thank you.